इसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। विष्णुपाद प्रभुपाद से जगत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से गौर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोविंद श्यामखंड राधाखंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की गंगा मई की यमुना मई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समवेत भक्तवृंद की। All glories to Assembled Devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Assembled Devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Assembled Devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Prishtabhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swati. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Reading from chapter 6, text number 45. Prayatnad Yatamanas Tu yogi sangshuddha kilvishah aneka janma siddhas tato yati param gatim प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस् ततो याति परां गतिम् प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस् ततो याति परां गतिम् प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस् ततो याति परां गतिम्. Please repeat. prayatnanastu yogi samshuddha kilvishaha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim prayatnanastu yogi samshuddha kilvisaha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim. Anyone else? Okay, so prayatnat, by rigid practice, yatamanaha, endeavoring, to, and yogi, such a transcendentalist, samsuddha, washed off, kilbishaha, all of whose sins, aneka, after many janma, births, samsiddha, having achieved perfection, tataha, thereafter, yati, attains, param, the highest, gatim, destination. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. Purport: a person born in a particularly righteous, aristocratic or sacred family becomes conscious of his favorable condition for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins with his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contamination. When he is finally free from all contamination, he attains the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed from all contamination. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavritaha. After many births of executing pious activities, when one is completely free from all contaminations and from illusory duties, one becomes engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shitapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarsatam Sagar Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaditam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiveshakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastade Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpataribhyoścha kripa sindhubhyo vicha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesakshunnyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jnananandam Mayam Devam Nirmashpatikakridam Adharam Sarva Vidhyanam Hai Gribam Upasmahe Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinirasmarana Hai Vigna Vinasana Naya Che Hai Nija Vanchita Purana. Okay, so pretty short purport. We've talked on this a little bit extensively. So, coming to an end of this chapter, actually, we're down to the last two translations or texts after this one, 46 and 47. So, therefore, Arjuna. So Krishna in the next text encourages Arjuna to come to this platform of a yogi. Why? Because it awards one the supreme goal of life. as it is being as it is being said here, and when the yogi engages himself in sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. So we've spoken about how the yogi takes birth in a Brahminical family, or an aristocratic family, or a sacred family. Specifically in this particular instant, in the family of devotees, or in the association of devotees he may be born into. So here it is emphasized by Srila Prabhupada that those who have practiced before, generally they become conscious of their position. They understand where they're at. They understand the importance of Krishna consciousness. And in that favorable situation, with determination, one begins his unfinished task and thus completely cleanses himself of all material contamination. So this is a very important point that Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here. You can bring this verse up. You can search Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Got it? Should come up. Let me bring it up to 2.3.10. So, akama sarvakama va mokshakama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yacheta purusham param. So, if you look at this word, tivrena, with great force, with a great determination, Tivrena, with one pointed attention, this is mentioned here, with aradhihi, with broad intelligence. So if one, as translation says, a person who has broad intelligence, this is also sometimes referred to as sumedha saha, one who has sharp intelligence, broad, sharp, whether he is full of all material desires, without any material desire, or desiring the liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. Prabhupada writes, it's quite a little bit of a long purport. So let me see here, I just want to hit on this main point. So if you can go down to the section of where it starts with Udaradhihi. Udaradhihi means one who has a broader outlook. People with desires for material enjoyment worship small demigods, and such intelligence is condemned in Bhagavad Gita 7.20 as Hrita-jnana, the intelligence of one who has lost his senses. And so Krishna says like that, Mayaya Prita-jnana. So one cannot obtain any result from demigods without getting satisfaction from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, a person with broader outlook can see that the ultimate authority is the Lord, even for material benefits. Under the circumstances, one with a broader outlook, even with the desire for material enjoyment or for liberation, should take to the worship of the Lord directly. And therefore, whether an akama or sakama or mokshakama should worship the Lord with great expedience. This implies that expedience. This implies that bhakti yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixtures of karma and jnana. As the unmixed sun rays is very forceful and is therefore called tivra, similarly unmixed bhakti yoga of hearing, chanting, etc. may be performed by one and all regardless of inner motive. So generally, those who have not been able to attain perfection within this life of devotional service, generally there is mishra bhakti, that which is mixed with jnana and karma. We desire some sort of fruitive activity within devotional service, or we desire just liberation itself without the pure understanding of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We just desire to be free from this suffering of this material world, like the case of the Buddhists and the Mayavadis. So the devotee, when he comes to this platform of being unmixed, unmixture. As Prabhupada says here, he gives the example of the rays of the sun. As the unmixed sun rays is very forceful, and so therefore is called tivra. Similarly, unmixed bhakti yoga of hearing, chanting, etc. may be performed by one and all. So this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, all these aspects, specifically Shravanam and Kirtanam mentioned here, are the most important aspects of Krishna consciousness, by which one, when one hears such things, it penetrates through the material coverings of the living entity and allows one to be able to actually hear the pure message on the platform of the soul. When one hears, the reason we hear is for the benefit of ourselves, not this body, but the soul itself. It's quite impossible. It's quite difficult to understand how by hearing we become transformed. How by just listening to the translation, to the Vedic literatures or the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, how that is able to transform us. That is the primary method of hearing and chanting. Hearing the Bhagavatam and repeating the Bhagavatam are the two processes by which one comes to the platform of realization. So here, that is being emphasized, that the yogi who has begun his who's come to the platform of, in this life, falling from not making it in the last life, now coming to the platform of having being born in a family that is righteous, so that is, Prabhupada says here, aristocratic and sacred, he takes full advantage of that because he has become conscious. He's become conscious of his position, like we were speaking about last week. What it requires to be conscious of this position, how it requires for us to understand our state of being, how it requires us to understand the position that we are currently in, unfortunately. The unfortunate situation that we face in our lives in the age of Kali. How unqualified we are. But in this case of the yogi, he has become qualified, and in this life, when he takes birth, he realizes this, that this world is a place of misery, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I should simply serve him with determination. And so the desire for jnana and karma, jnana karma anavritam, anukulena krishnanu, shilanam bhaktir uttama. When this arises, when one becomes devoid of desire for knowledge and fruitive activities, and desire for pure devotional service, when this becomes prominent within his heart, then Prabhupada said it's like the sun rays. It is very forceful. It is very one-directed, as Krishna speaks about. One whose mind is fixed, his intelligence is one-directed. It is strong. It is given a proper direction. The person is not bewildered at any stage. One who is fixed on the platform of devotional service. So, therefore, this is like the rays. It becomes unmixed. It is unmixed. So, tivra is called forceful, just like Prabhupada is describing. The sun rays come through the atmosphere. It pierces the atmosphere. It pierces through the clouds and shines. Especially if there's no clouds, then it shines very forcefully. And it has so many things that it does. It purifies. What is those two words that are used in the Ishopanishad? And prophylactic. I can't say that word. Yeah, it's hard to pronounce. So the sun is a purifier. It purifies everything around it. Just like it takes the water. Somebody passes water on the side of the street. It will take out all of the pure water from there and leave the impurities. So similarly, when one takes up bhakti yoga, all his impurities become left behind, and the pure living entity shines forward. It shines because the message of pure Krishna consciousness, the pure holy name, is shining through these clouds, through the clouds. There's no more clouds anymore because his desire for jnana and karma is gone. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions like this about the chanting of the holy name of Nama, Nama Bas, Nama Parad, that it's like the clouds. And there's like, when one comes to the platform of Nama Bas, chanting the, not being offensive to the holy name and being somewhat attentive but not having complete faith, but being attentive to the holy name, not being offensive to it, then one starts to see the true form of the holy name. One starts to see the shining, the sun rays start to come through the clouds. One starts to see the holy name. Sorry, I should put this on. Do not disturb, okay. One starts to see the light of the holy name. One starts to see the pure holy name at this stage. So similarly, when one starts to become free of these, the sun penetrates through the shining lamp of knowledge, of bhakti yoga, of pure Krishna consciousness, shines through. And it completely takes the impure desires out of us and makes us complete and brings us to our pure platform. And so in that stage, we become tivra, become fixed, become completely determined to act in devotional service, because we understand that that is the goal of life. So this is done by the yogi, and he begins his unfinished task. And thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contamination. So by doing that, when he thus completely cleanses himself of all material contaminations, when he's finally free from all contaminations, he attains the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. So he is not at the stage of pure Krishna consciousness yet, but he has to still endeavor. There is still a position by which the yogi may also fall down. It is not guaranteed yet. It is given, as Prabhupada mentions, he realizes his pious position. He realizes his favorable condition. It is a favorable condition for Krishna consciousness, but at the same time it may not exactly be a promise, just like we've seen in our lives of devotees persons who are born in devotee families, but they don't realize their favorable condition, because one may become covered up by the material energy very quickly also. That is the nature of this material existence, is that the covering potency of Maya is very strong. So even if one is born in a devotee family, it is not promised that he will take up devotional service. That is up to the individual's desire. That is to be understood, that devotional service is not forced at any point. It is the individual's choice that he makes to endeavor in that direction. It is neither forced, or is it neither attained by just some pious activities. So even if one has even if one has performed devotional service in his past life, he's not exactly guaranteed pure devotional service within this life. We are guaranteed a favorable situation by which we can perform devotional service. But to come to the platform of purity, it requires the individual to be conscious of his position, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. So the main point here being made is that one is conscious of his position. Whether we can understand whether we may be in a good birth or a bad birth, the main point being made is if one is conscious of his position. If the yogi, after hundreds of lifetimes of yoga practice, comes to a level of a good condition, but he's not conscious of his condition, of his position, he attains a pious position or a favorable condition and he just uses it for sense gratification, but he doesn't use it for Krishna consciousness, then all is lost for him. But if a person may not be born in a favorable condition, may be born not in a pious family, not in a righteous family, and neither in a sacred family, but if he understands his position, it is conscious, he has the ability to become fully Krishna conscious. He doesn't have to go through another lifetime. Prabhupada was asked this in Melbourne when he was giving class. A devotee said, "Prabhupada, how many lifetimes does it take to attain perfection?" He said, "You are not reading Bhagavad Gita? It is one moment, that is all. One moment, that is all that is required. Sarva dharma paritaja mamekam sharanam varja aham tvam sarva papivyo mokshashami masuchaha." What is this other verse? Brahmande brahmite kona bhagyavan jiva. Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bija. Sadhu sanga sarva shastra koi. Lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. By 1/8 of a second of association of devotee, one can attain perfection. Prabhupada saying is one moment. Sarva siddhi hoy. All perfection can be attained simply by 1/8 of a second of association with a pure devotee. That is what all the Shastras say. That is what they all praise about. That is why they say, the Shastra always makes the point, don't just go visit the pilgrimage places for the sake of pilgrimage. Don't go there for the sake of bathing in the waters. Go there for the association of devotees. Because they can purify. The waters of the Ganga may purify one after many baths. And it may take a very long time. But by hearing the pure words from the pure devotee of the Lord, one can immediately become free of all sinful reactions and develop love for Krishna. So, getting rid of sins is one thing, but then to develop love for Krishna is a completely different platform. They go hand in hand in the sense that, well, if one just develops love for Krishna, then all his sins are, taken away. But for the desire just to be resolved or to be devoid or get rid of our sins in itself doesn't give us Krishna consciousness. Just brings us to a level of piety. So the yogi, if he does not recognize his position, he does not recognize the importance of the sadhus, he does not go and hear in the platform, he does not consider the Shravan very important. He does not give importance to the Shravan, to hearing from the sadhu, then he is all lost. He will be lost, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. If you do not hear from me, you will be completely lost. If you do not listen, if you do not become conscious of me and act according to the instructions that I'm giving you, you will become lost. You have no hope, Arjuna. So similarly, the yogi, although he has such a favorable position, if his attraction to hear does not arise, then he is again becomes stuck in the cycle of birth and death. But it's mentioned the verse before that the yogi generally does not become so inclined towards sense gratification or the rituals of the Vedas, as Krishna mentioned in the verse before. He immediately puts aside all of these things and engages in devotional service. So we can understand those who do such a thing, they have performed great levels of devotional service in their past lives. But it also may be that those who are born in a favorable situation may just be demigods in their last life and come down to this, earthly planet and continue in that same sort of consciousness. That is mentioned also, that the demigods take birth, in this earthly planet. It's actually in the 5th canto. I think the prayers of the Jambudvip, I was trying to find it. The residents of Jambudvip, they pray there's a prayer in there like that even the demigods are waiting to come down to the earthly planet to be able to render proper devotional service to the Lord. But they may also become bewildered by the material energy, become attracted to it, because when one has a favorable condition, a pious position, he is also given the ability he has a very beautiful body, very beautiful voice, very beautiful, the ability to practically do everything, very intelligent. They're awarded with that. So they may misuse that. But we've seen a few cases where they are able to utilize it completely in devotional service or become attracted to devotional service, and they become very great devotees. They're just unprecedented. Whatever they do is just like, whoa, this person is on a different level. You can just see from the beginning. So if they engage themselves intensely with determinations in devotional service and become free from all contamination, he attains the pure perfection, the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a perfect stage of being freed from all contamination. This is confirmed. So when he's freed from the desire for jnana and karma, the desire for enjoyment, the desire for worldly things, and his attraction for Krishna deeply arises within his heart. There's nothing more for him to be had. All his desires are directed towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He becomes completely free. And in that state, he is free from all contamination, as is being said here, free from this material world, free from all contamination, and attains the platform of love. And therefore, in the next verse, as next week we'll go through, Krishna says like that, a yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than the empiricist, EMPIRICIST, empiricists, and greater than the fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham. That of all the yogis, the bhakti yogi is the topmost yogi, because he has attained perfection. That is the perfectional platform. That is the state in which one realizes the Bhagavan aspect. So in that perfection, the yogi who has had to undergo so many lifetimes of practice is no longer having to do that anymore. He, at the Janma Karma Chami Divyam, Evam Yoviti Tattvadah, Tyaktva Deham Punar Janma, Naiti Mameti Suarjuna. He attains perfection and does not return to this material world again. So that is the platform. That is the way by which one comes to this perfection of Krishna consciousness. It's pretty short, so I'm going to keep it short also. So Srila Prabhupada's given it for us pretty basic, but very, it's like the sun, as Prabhupada says here. It is purifying, it is forceful. The activities that Srila Prabhupada has set forward, it really takes us quickly to the platform of pure devotional service within one lifetime. It doesn't require multiple lifetimes. It doesn't require pious birth. It doesn't require a great family. It doesn't require fortunate position. It can be in any position. No material circumstances or position is required for this practice. So, chanting 16 rounds, waking up early, doing all of these activities that Prabhupada has set forward, strictly with adherence and with proper respect to the acharyas, with proper knowledge and following the instructions, the yogi can attain complete perfection, whether he's performed devotional service in this life or hasn't performed devotional service in the past life. Whether he has, the Krishna consciousness movement gives one all facilities to be able to attain perfection independent of their situation. So it is a very great position that Srila Prabhupada has given us. So we must take it forward and perfect this life within this time that we're given in this body, not have to go through so many other millions of births again. So I'll end my class there. It's pretty straightforward. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question. And you're explaining this verse from the Nectar of Devotion, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, that devotional service is devoid of all these different things, mental speculation, fruitive activity. And I was thinking, is it wrong to want to perform activities that will make you advance in devotional service? Because I was thinking, if it's obviously is it wrong to want to become a pure devotee? Because Krishna consciousness means you should become desireless. I was okay. I desire you, and I want to become a pure devotee. Is that like, should you even desire those kinds of things?
Yeah,
kind of getting at.
It's. Why do you want to become a pure devotee, right? So we want to become a pure devotee for the sake of being able to please Krishna. We don't want to become a pure devotee for name, fame, adoration, not for prestige. So that's the main point, is a pure devotee wants to be pure to be able to please Krishna. That's why he's pure, not for the sake of being glorified, saying, oh, look, this, you're such a great pure devotee and you're so amazing. Not for that. So therefore he's pure, because the only reason he does anything is for the sake of pleasing Krishna. So that is his position. Yeah, it's like the devotee. We desire to be pure. If we're pure, then we can relish. We can hear constantly. We can chant constantly. We can serve constantly without disturbance in our mind. How nice would that be, right? To be able to just like chant all day, not think about when I'm going to finish my 16 rounds and go and do other things. To be able to sit down and read and be absorbed completely in reading this amazing literature and not have the mind rush here and there. To be able to just go on day in, day out, ecstatically performing each service with great enthusiasm and determination. How pleased would Krishna be? How pleased would our spiritual master be if we were pure devotees? So that's how pure devotees think. They don't think, well, I want to become pure so that, they think I want to become pure so I can serve the spiritual master, I can serve the mission. Please, therefore the devotee prays to Lord Nrsimha, prays to Krishna, please purify me so I can come to the level of serving your lotus feet without any checks. Right now my mind checks me so much at every stage, like, my God, the desire is there. Our desire is there, it's like, I want to please Krishna, I want to please Guru, I want to please do all of these things, but then our mind checks us, our false ego checks us at every stage. So then, therefore we're reading, right, that class on Saturday, the prayer and blessings are required in order to come to the platform of purity, in order not to fall down. Like Lord Brahma is praying, please, O Lord, please bless me so that I may not, endow your blessings upon me so I may never forget the Vedic hymns. So the pure devotee specifically wants to come to the platform of purity in order to preach, in order to serve his spiritual master with great determination. So it's a desire that we desire, because we want that. We want that as soon as possible for us, because it's like we want to serve. We want to serve more. We want to serve with greater vigor. We just want to expand our spiritual master's mission. So then that's like the mood and attitude by which a devotee who is pure of intent becomes pure. Right? He's on the tree, he's an unripe mango, but in time he will become a ripe mango. So that is the attitude and intent by which one continues in devotional service, and that's the attitude of, I want to become a pure devotee. I know I'm not. And even when you become a pure devotee, the pure devotee constantly laments of how he's not a pure devotee. Laments means, and doesn't not like a Shudra, but he's out of his humility. He's performing great devotional service, but in his heart he's feeling, oh, I wish I had love for Krishna, even though he has complete love for Krishna. So there's a platform. It's like unthinkable. It's inconceivable. Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. It's inconceivable how the pure devotee is pure but feels impure. So that's the nature of devotional service. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Questions? You have something? Oh, Mataji has something?
Iman Matari asks, how will devotee know they've reached that perfection stage if the mood is to stay humble and have humility?
When you become humble, what is the mood is to become, what is the humble and what? Have humility, yeah. When one becomes, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarodapi Saishna, Amani Namani Dena, Kirtanya Sadahari. When you can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. But even then, a devotee, like, how does he? We don't care. We don't care. It's like, now I became a pure devotee. So what are you going to do now? What now? Okay, I became a pure devotee. You realize you became a pure devotee. I don't. If you ask Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I don't know if he'll, he explains that in his songs a little later. But you see his mood and attitude of approaching that level. So a pure devotee never feels himself to be pure. You ask that to Narottam Das Thakur, see what he says. And he says, no, I'm like a sinner. They'll say like that. So how does one realize he's there's spontaneous love for Krishna. Spontaneous means one is naturally attracted towards devotional service, doesn't waste time, is not disturbed in any circumstances, is purely engaged with pure motive, is patience, is all of these symptoms show up, but it is noticed by other pure devotees or other devotees, but oneself, he just considers himself, he doesn't think of himself as so big, he just continues his service. Doesn't matter to him. But he is always praying. Even Srila Prabhupada said, I'm always praying not to fall down. So it's not that one stage we become pure and then we stop our activities. Some idea may be there like that materially. Now I made $1 million, I've finished the whole thing. But this is not it. Bhakti Yoga is unlimited. The love for Krishna that one can expound, one can grow, the love that is there for Krishna can grow unlimitedly. So the pure devotee always feels he's not enough, to love Krishna. So he wants to do more and more and more and more. So he's always humble in that regard. And when will I be able to perform more service? When will I be able to do more service? How will I be able to please Krishna more? So he feels humbled in that way that he's not able to do that. He feels like he's not able to do that. Of course, Krishna is accepting his loving service. So it's hard to understand how that pure devotee, we always have to act out of humility. So how do we know we're pure? We just go on and you see your desires to love Krishna is more, your desire to engage in material activities is become extinguished. There's no more fire of material existence anymore. So like that, it's seen by symptoms, but even if we come to the platform, we don't identify ourselves as pure devotees. Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki